When Mitt Romney was governor, Massachusetts was number one in state debt. $18 billion in debt, more debt per person than any other state in the country. At the same time, Massachusetts fell to 47th in job creation, one of the worst economic records in the country.
That is the latest missile launch in the three-part salvo of attack ads from the Obama campaign that the president has opened his re-election strategy with. This one attacking Mitt Romney on his record as governor of Massachusetts. Who knew we'd get to see Democrats attacking Massachusetts? And this is Power Play. Welcome back. And we are very lucky today because we have two of your very favorites together again for the very first time. Ford O'Connell, you know him as the chairman of the Civic Forum PAC. He is a Republican strategist. He is good fun and a good friend. And here's David Mercer, also good fun and a good friend. He is the former deputy national finance director for the Democratic National Committee, and he has a cool Twitter handle. He stole Beltway before anybody else could get it, so he probably gets a lot of followers. Now, guys, the first two rocket launches from the Obama campaign, this has been about a $26 million swing state softening up of Mitt Romney, were about his personal finances, then about his Swiss bank account, then was the attack on his work as CEO of Bain Capital, where they said he was a vampire. And now they say he was also a stinky governor of Massachusetts. So let's start with you, Ford, since it's the red team taking the incoming. Mitt Romney, Massachusetts is a troublesome thing for a Republican. It is not, and for all of you out there from the Bay State, not the most popular state in the country, especially among conservatives. So doesn't this have a double edge for Obama, that he not only hits Romney for what he says are bad numbers, but also reminds Republicans, by the way, remember when that guy was a moderate up in Massachusetts?
It is a little bit of a problem, but I think that President Obama basically is grasping at straws, cannot find a message that sticks. Romney's closing in the polls, and now he wants to attack Romney's Massachusetts record, where Romney lowered unemployment, wages were increased, and he reduced a $3 billion budget deficit. And frankly, President Obama is trying to pick holes every way possible. When he says Massachusetts' debt was $18 billion, then guess what? President Obama's debt is $16 trillion. Right. That's another misguided fact that they want to claim is out there, and it's a lie.
Okay, now David, anytime you attack, you hurt yourself. This is the basic rule of thumb in politics: is attack ads have to be worth what you're going to pay for them. And you're not talking about money there, you're talking about the increase of your own negatives, because they always go up. You just are hoping that you're driving your opponents up more. The president has been in a very expensive, very negative dash to define Mitt Romney in the early going so that he can't ever close the gap at the very end. But is there not some danger for the president eventually? I mean, this is a lot of mean stuff for Dr. Hope and Change.
I think it's clarifying the message that Romney has put out there, and if we want to talk about lies, that he has put out in terms of being a job creator and so forth at Bain Capital, or being a job creator, but not talking about how the state was 47 out of 50 in job creation when he left. Secondly, we're piggybacking on, this isn't new, we're piggybacking off of what Perry said during the primaries,
to say that a lot.
Who called him a vulture capitalist. We're piggybacking off of Michelle Bachmann, who called his career, crony capitalism, and he's got to reckon with that. We have a broader audience, and we just want to make sure that what the Republicans had mentioned during the primary gets echoed to the general population.
You're not worried about meanie president. That's going to be okay?
He's not a mean president,
right?
And he cares about firefighters and teachers and police.
But this is a president who basically doesn't have a record to run on, doesn't have a net job, and now he's going to go after Romney. And by the way, the president's also going to claim that currently Republicans are blocking him in the legislature. Since 1950 in Massachusetts, Democrats have controlled the legislature. And frankly, in the last 20 years, they've had a near supermajority. And their spending habits make Pelosi and Reid look like misers. The bottom line is, Mitt Romney did the best he could with a bad situation and improved it. And when he started in terms of job creation, Massachusetts was 50th. When he ended, it was 28th. Now, whether that's 30th, 47th, I don't know, but the one thing,
47.
it's an improvement, and you guys don't have.
Well, hold on.
I have a quote.
I have a quote for you, and it's from the internet. The internet says this. Massachusetts, and I assume that's how you wanted me to say that, Massachusetts also had about the lowest unemployment rate in the country under Romney. Again, the liberals are not good at using math, says Mike Carter.
If I might.
Well, and you might. And,
the national rate was low.
Right.
We're in a different world now after a Bush era of putting us in the ditch.
He's good,
where we lost 9% in GDP. But let me give you a quote and tell me who this is. I'd be embarrassed if I didn't always ask for federal money whenever I got the chance. Tell me who that is? That would be Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney made sure he was getting his federal money. So it wasn't just the state legislature in Massachusetts.
That was about the Olympics.
No, it wasn't. It was actually in front of a business association where he was schooling them on how to tap, like he did at Bain, all the subsidies he got in borrowing money.
Unemployment went down to 4.6%, and the bottom line is
because the national rate was that, but it was the lowest.
Oh, I thought
it was the lowest rate. It was the lowest
forward.
Job creation rate at 47 versus the rest of the country.
No, actually, I think the word you were going to say was Louisiana in there. You forgot about that one. But the bottom line is he lowered the unemployment, and he dealt with a liberal legislature that would blow your mind away. The mere fact that he was able to do that without raising personal income taxes is a credit to somebody who can take a bad situation and improve it. You guys like to claim you inherited a bad situation, but you made it worse.
If I was advising him, with that Massachusetts legislature, I'd be running on Romney Care and the provisions of that those provide for those that have either kids that should be on their adult insurance or those that have pre-existing conditions. That's what I'd be running on.
After Obamacare
saying that
down,
you had obstruction.
Okay, go ahead for it. All right.
The bottom line is, again, that is a state law. And as you've said on numerous occasions to me, that it had a negligible impact on jobs. But we know darn well that Obamacare could very well get struck down, and it is going to be a net impact on small business if it is upheld. Now, there is one thing that my guys have to worry about if Obamacare is struck down, and that is making sure one popular provision in there stays intact through other forms of legislation, is keeping children that are 26 and under on their parents' rider and insurance.
He likes young people. Now, this is your last word, so go ahead and lay it out there.
And the hypocrisy of this all is the individual mandate, which is central to the consideration on the Supreme Court, that the Heritage Foundation, Romney, Gingrich, all have supported. But they weren't mentioning that when they were supporting it years ago.
He gets the last word.
He's
sneaky, isn't he? He gets the last word. Gentlemen, we thank you very much for your spirited conversation. We may have to have a beer and brat summit just to bring this back together. And we'll give the last word to Mock Tink. Whoever came up with the latest Obama ad should be fired. It gave an opening to Romney to remind the voters that Obama has $16 trillion debt, 8.2% unemployment. I'll take 4.7 over 8.2. There you have it. Okay.
I'll take 4.2 million jobs.
We thank you. We thank you for making time for us today.